carbohydrates. Now that we think of managing weight as one thing, and that is important, but it's the glycotoxins that are a big major problem. Glycotoxins, another name for them, are called advanced glycation end products. Some of you might have heard that before, but basically this sugar that your body does not use to produce energy, to produce ATP. It can be stored as fat, or it can react with proteins and form glycotoxins. And they are bad news for your body. One of them that you're familiar with, and that Mark mentioned, was hemoglobin A1C. You know, to see if you have diabetes, you get that checked, to see how well you're controlling your blood sugar levels. Here's one reason why hemoglobin A1C is bad. There are many, but I'm just going to give you one. Hemoglobin A1C, when this hemoglobin carries oxygen, right? It wouldn't do you any good to have lungs and to breathe if you didn't have hemoglobin and the red blood cells to carry oxygen to the various parts of the body. But like carbon monoxide, you know how carbon monoxide, you know, if you breathe that in and it binds to that hemoglobin so you can't get oxygen on there? Well, it's kind of the opposite. Hemoglobin, glycosylated or sugar-attached hemoglobin, it doesn't want to give up the oxygen very easily. So you're going to breathe, and it's delivering this oxygen around the body, and it's not going to give it up very easily because it doesn't do as well as when there's no sugar attached. And that has problems for wound healing and for cellular regeneration and so forth. So very bad. So when you eat carbohydrates in your food, that includes the starches and the sugars, like the table sugar, your body needs to digest it. And in your digestive system, once you eat that food, there's signals that tell like the intestines and then the pancreas over here to, release enzymes to help digest that food. One of them is called amylase, and that actually starts in your salivary glands, and it'll break down the starchy type carbohydrates. And then there's something called sucrose in the intestines, and it helps break down the table sugar, this kind of sugar. Now, table sugar is composed of two parts. There's a glucose part and a sucrose part, a fructose part, and they're combined together. Think of like two cars and a train attached together. Glucose, you need some glucose. You need some. You don't need too much because it causes a lot of problems, as we're all familiar with. The fructose part, that'll kill you faster than anything. Okay, that's a really good glycator. It's very effective at that. And then the starch is like a whole bunch of these train cars connected with glucose. So these enzymes break them up, separate these cars up so you can digest them. If the enzymes don't break them up, you won't digest them. So here's what we have. With sugar stop, we have in the white kidney bean extract some things, some phytonutrients in there that help inhibit the activity of the amylase. So it won't break those up, so you can't digest them. So in effect, about 40% of the sugar you would get from these starchy type carbohydrates is not absorbed. And it kind of behaves more like a dietary fiber at that point because it just passes right on through the digestive tract. And that's not extra sugar getting into your bloodstream. Now the sucrase, it is inhibited by something called L-arabinose. And itself is a type of sugar, but you don't digest this. What it does, though, is it ties up that sucrase. The L-arabinose ties up that sucrase, so it can't digest the sucrose, or the table sugar that's in the food, and Mark's Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and whatever else he's consuming. Or whatever else we're consuming, right? We all like a little bit of sweetness, right? A spoonful of sugar helps medicine go down, right? And everything else go down, and it also gives you diabetes. But, so the L-arabinose takes up that space. And 20% of that sugar that would be available to you through your diet, up to 20% can be reduced through this L-arabinose. But that's not all. Okay, we have this three-pronged approach with sugar stop. We have in there a really great source of dietary fiber, including soluble and insoluble fiber, and the bulk of it's the insoluble fiber. Now here's what that fiber does. There are, again, many reasons behind this, but that fiber will slow down the absorption of the sugar from the food also. So your glucose peak doesn't go as high. It can actually impact the glycemic index of the foods you consume because you're not getting that big slug of sugar into your bloodstream right away. So the fiber kind of binds that up, and it has many effects in the body, but it kind of slows that rate of that sugar being absorbed through the intestines into your bloodstream. So your body then can use this reduced sugar intake to get what it needs for energy, producing ATP, so your brain will work, and then that extra stuff, you don't have as much of it, so it's not going to be stored as fat, and it's not going to form glycotoxins that will cause all these problems that we have in today's lifestyle-related diseases that we see all the time. Hemoglobin A1C being a great example. So, again, this is something you can add to what you're doing now to benefit yourself, because remember these wheelbarrow here, there are many more wheelbarrows with these starchy type foods as well, and that source of carbohydrates. So, we've guaranteed this product. We've tested it, we've demonstrated it. It's got all the same, it's been improved, but we have all the same active stuff in there as before. All the stuff, all the good stuff is still there. Same amounts, same dosage. So I'm going to talk about one of these studies we did. We've done lots of studies, and we keep doing studies. You know, we want to talk's cheap, right? So we're just going to show you, we're going to really demonstrate the importance and the value and how good these products really are for you. That's what we do. That's what we do at PartnerCo. That's the heritage we have. So in one study we did, we enrolled a bunch of people, and we put them on a low-calorie diet with increased exercise, and we targeted a 2-pound-a-week weight loss. And then we, based on reducing calories and increasing calorie burn through exercise. And then we gave them sugar stop also. And what we saw is that these people had an extra pound of weight loss per week when they were using sugar stop. When they're already doing this extra calorie reduction, increased exercise, they got an added benefit from sugar stop, dropping a pound a week. Okay, now you think, okay, that might be good, right? But we really saw some cool stuff beyond this as well. Stuff that has long-term health benefits past this as well. So the weight loss is great. It was improved. But we also saw that that effect came from reduced sugar intake. And the way we did it is we were able to measure these glycotoxins in these people. There's a non-invasive way to do that. We did this. And we saw that there was a significant decline. And this was over the course of 11 weeks. And this glycotoxin load that we have, it tends to increase as we get older. So like when I was back in my 20s, a few decades ago, my glycotoxin load would be lower than it is now. So everybody, if we took everybody in this room, it goes up as we get a little older, which just naturally happens. And there's a characteristic amount for your age. So keep that in mind, there's an age-related increase. Now these people, when we measured them, we saw that their age-related glycotoxin load declined on average to the values of people almost 9 years younger than them. So that's like rolling back the clock, 9 years on this glycotoxin load. So that has a big impact on long-term health, more than we all realize. In fact, there's studies that demonstrate this very thoroughly, that earlier intervention results in better outcomes and greater longevity. So we saw the weight loss, we saw the reduction of the glycotoxins in these people. It was a big deal. Now, we do have, this product contains noni fruit powder, Tisha noni fruit powder. This is the real noni, right? This is the good noni. This is the noni we have, PartnerCo. Now, we've done human clinical trials also with this fruit. And we found in a study we did in the University of Hamburg in Germany with people that had type 2 diabetes that took this product, that drank the noni for 2 months, we saw a decline in glycosylated hemoglobin, just as expected, right? Just as we had thought based on a lot of research we did before, but a decline in this glycation that was happening in these people that was resulting in a reduction in their hemoglobin A1C. It shows better and improved glucose levels in their body. And these people had already undergone some previous management to manage that condition, and this added to that, to improve that. So we have a lot of good things in sugar stop to benefit your health, to help you manage your weight, and to keep the longevity, keep your longevity as long as possible. There's a redundant term, longevity long. We want to keep it long, okay? All right, so guaranteed, tested, and proven. This is what we do at PartnerCo, and I encourage you to use this. This is a product that you may not realize you need, or your friends may not realize they need. So use it. It is great for your health. And thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the PXP.